It will be decommissioned to save money in 2 years' time. Buckingham Palace saying they must not be bound by the past.
Prince Harry opened up about the legal security challenges that are preventing him from reconciling with his estranged dad, King Charles.
It starts quietly. A palace gate closes. A royal train is decommissioned. A future king chooses to raise his heirs in a modest woodland home instead of a gilded palace. And just like that, the unthinkable starts to feel inevitable. Is the British royal family, once the most unshakable symbol of continuity in the modern world, fading before our eyes? In 2025, the British monarchy looks radically different than it did just a decade ago. Queen Elizabeth II, the eternal monarch to millions, is gone. King Charles III now reigns, but with fewer working royals, shrinking public ceremonies, and a sharp drop in popularity, especially among the young. Prince William and Princess Kate, once heralded as the future's hope, are downsizing their royal image. Their choices seem strategic, but to some, they look like retreat. Meanwhile, the royal family battles illness, scandal, and growing calls to modernize or step aside. In a world that's becoming more progressive, more democratic, and more connected, many are starting to ask, is the royal era over? Or is this just the beginning of a reinvention that no one saw coming? The answer may define the future of one of the world's oldest institutions. To understand where the royal family stands today, you need to understand how it survived for so long. The British monarchy was once a powerhouse of political control. Kings and queens ruled by divine right, commanding armies, executing dissenters, and shaping empires. But centuries of public pressure, revolution, and reform slowly stripped away their authority. By the 20th century, the monarchy had shifted from rulers to figureheads. They waved from balconies, opened hospitals, and served as living symbols of British tradition, unity, and continuity. And for a time, that worked. Queen Elizabeth II mastered this balancing act. Her reign, 70 years long, was defined by stability, tradition, and carefully measured silence. Under her watch, the monarchy weathered wars, divorces, scandals, and shifting values. She never changed much, but she never needed to. But now, the old formula isn't working. The monarchy's ability to do nothing and survive is wearing thin. Public expectations have changed. Transparency, relatability, and action are now required. And many ask whether the institution can keep up. So here we are, an ancient crown, floating in a modern world that's racing ahead. Can tradition and relevance still live in the same castle? King Charles III came to the throne with a clear mission: slim it down. Not just the public image, but the whole institution. Fewer working royals, less pomp, lower costs. A royal reset. One of the biggest moves? Retiring the royal train by 2027. For over 150 years, it had symbolized luxury and heritage. But with rising criticism over royal expenses, Charles decided its time was up. Some saw it as sensible, others as a sign that even the crown is quietly shrinking. Then there's Prince William and Princess Kate. In 2025, they announced plans to permanently settle in Forest Lodge, a modest home nestled deep in Windsor Great Park. No golden gates, no palace fanfare, just trees, privacy, and normalcy, at least by royal standards. Kate calls it their forever home. William prefers a pushbike to a Rolls-Royce. Together, they're rejecting the image of stiff, distant royalty and leaning into relatability. Supporters say it's a brilliant move. A monarchy that reflects the people might survive longer. But critics argue the opposite. By stepping away from Buckingham Palace and all its grandeur, they risk losing what made them different in the first place: the aura, the mystique. If royals become just like everyone else, what's the point of having them at all? The message is clear. The royal family is trying to meet the modern world halfway. But in doing so, they may be walking right off the pedestal that's kept them standing for centuries. The biggest threat to the monarchy isn't scandal, politics, or even the media. It's indifference. According to the British Social Attitudes Survey, public support for the monarchy has dropped to its lowest level since records began in the 1980s. Just over half of respondents, around 54%, said they thought the monarchy was very or quite important. But the real warning sign? Young people are tuning out. In recent YouGov polls, only a small percentage of 18 to 24-year-olds say they support the monarchy. Many either favor a republic or simply don't care, and that's dangerous. The monarchy doesn't need universal love, but it needs relevance. Without it, its role becomes performative, symbolic, hollow. Younger generations are questioning everything. Why does one family deserve taxpayer-funded privilege? What does a crown mean in a society that values equality? And in an era dominated by TikTok, activism, and decentralization, why should anyone care about a centuries-old institution tied to empire and hierarchy? This isn't just a British issue. Across the Commonwealth, Canada, Australia, the Caribbean, support for the crown is slipping fast. Countries like Barbados have already cut ties. The Queen's passing triggered a wave of re-evaluation. Now, with Charles on the throne and William waiting in the wings, people are asking tough questions the monarchy can no longer avoid. Because if an entire generation stops believing the royals matter, then sooner or later, they won't. In a monarchy built on image, favorability is everything. According to the latest YouGov polls, Prince William, Princess Catherine, and Princess Anne hold the highest approval ratings in the royal family, each with over 70% favorability. They're seen as hardworking, relatable, and, most importantly, scandal-free. King Charles III sits in the middle with around 59%, not hated, not adored, just accepted. Then there's the other side. Prince Harry, once the golden child, now lingers around 28% approval. Meghan Markle, even lower, at just 20%. Their explosive interviews, Netflix deals, and public rift with the family left deep divides across the UK. And Prince Andrew, tainted by scandal and lawsuits, has all but vanished from public life. His name barely makes headlines now, except when whispered as a cautionary tale. These numbers paint a clear picture. The monarchy's strength isn't the crown itself, but who wears it. Public trust lies with individual royals, not the institution as a whole. If William and Kate remain admired, the monarchy may hold. But if that goodwill fades, or if the next generation can't inspire the same trust, the entire House of Windsor could find itself on shaky ground. Behind the palace gates, the royal family isn't just managing tradition, they're managing damage. King Charles may sit on the throne, but the one quietly pulling levers behind the scenes is Prince William. According to royal insiders, he's already planning the future, and that future doesn't include his scandal-ridden uncle. Prince Andrew, long disgraced by allegations and legal settlements, has reportedly been banished from the royal inner circle. When William becomes king, he intends to make that exile permanent. No royal duties, no public appearances, no return. It's part of a larger strategy, image control. After years of bruising headlines, from Andrew's legal troubles to Harry and Meghan's public fallout, the monarchy is drawing a firm line between working royals and the rest. Those on the inside must be polished, professional, and controversy-free. Everyone else, kept at arm's length. Reconciliation with Harry and Meghan remains distant. Despite Charles's apparent willingness to make peace, William has reportedly shown little interest. Some say the family rift has become too personal. Others believe it's strictly business. Protect the crown at all costs. Either way, the result is the same. The royal family is shrinking not just by design, but by necessity. What once seemed like a sprawling dynasty now looks more like a tightrope act. Every move measured, every scandal a potential fall. Because in the age of social media and instant judgment, a single misstep can undo centuries of mystique. For the monarchy to survive, it can't just clean up its image, it needs to secure its future. And that future rests on three young shoulders: George, Charlotte, and Louis. Prince William and Princess Kate know it. Royal experts say the couple faces a very difficult task, keeping the monarchy relevant in a world that's quickly outgrowing it. That means raising a new generation of royals who aren't just figureheads, but role models. Already, we're seeing the shift. Kate is positioning herself as a champion for mental health and early childhood development. William is focused on environmental causes and homelessness. Their causes are modern, media-friendly and deeply personal, designed to build emotional connections with the public. And they're not relying on stiff ceremonies or outdated rituals. Instead, they're using platforms like YouTube, Instagram, and even podcasts to humanize the crown and speak directly to a younger audience. It's less about waving from balconies and more about showing up in jeans, listening to real people, and engaging in real issues. The hope that the next generation sees the royals not as untouchable elites, but as public servants with purpose. It's a bold strategy, one that trades tradition for trust. But will authenticity be enough? Can a royal family raised in castles truly relate to a generation raised on social justice, digital transparency, and economic uncertainty? Only time will tell. The crown may be glittering, but the budget behind it is under a microscope. In an era of rising inflation and public sector cutbacks, taxpayer-funded royal expenses are no longer a quiet matter. Every penny spent is scrutinized, and the royal family knows it. That's why King Charles III is making cuts. The royal train, a historic but costly symbol of monarchy, will be retired. Royal residences are being consolidated. Even staffing has reportedly been trimmed. These aren't just financial decisions, they're signals. The monarchy is trying to show it understands the times, that it's not above sacrifice, that it too can adapt. But there's a cost. Every tradition scaled back weakens the mystique. Every reform strips away the ceremony that sets royalty apart. And if they lose too much of that, what are they? Just another wealthy family living in historical buildings, paid for by the public. So, is this it? Is the royal era really ending? Let's break it down. Arguments for the end is near. The signs are clear. Public support is steadily falling, especially among young people. Polls show many Brits don't feel emotionally connected to the monarchy anymore. For them, it's outdated, a relic of class division, colonial history, and taxpayer-funded privilege. Add in health crises, scandals, and a visibly smaller lineup of working royals, and it starts to feel like the walls are closing in. The royal family is retreating. Fewer events, fewer public duties, fewer faces. And with Charles already in his 70s, the institution faces an uphill battle to convince a generation raised on values of equality and transparency that kings and queens still matter. Arguments against the crown endures, but don't count them out just yet. The monarchy has weathered worse. Abdications, divorces, wars, even beheadings. What it's always had, its real strength, is the ability to adapt. William and Kate still hold massive public favor. Their children, already visible and carefully positioned, offer a vision of continuity. The institution may be evolving, but that evolution could be the very thing that saves it. Symbolism still matters. Ritual still holds power. And in uncertain times, people often crave tradition. In fact, the royal family's choice to modernize while preserving just enough pageantry may be its smartest play yet. So is the royal era ending? Not yet. But the crown is definitely being reshaped. Smaller, quieter, and walking a much thinner line. So here we are, standing at a royal crossroads. What once felt permanent now feels uncertain. The British monarchy, once a global symbol of tradition and endurance, is being reimagined before our eyes. It's quieter now, less gold, less grandeur, more relatable, more modern. But in becoming more like us, are the royals losing what made them royal to begin with? Public support is softening. The younger generation is turning away. And inside the palace, the family is smaller, more cautious, and carrying the weight of both legacy and survival. But make no mistake, the crown is still on. William and Kate are still rising. Their children are still waving from balconies. And for now, the monarchy still stands. The question isn't whether it ends tomorrow. The question is whether, 10 or 20 years from now, people will still care enough to keep it going. So, is this the end of the royal era? Or just the beginning of a brand new version? Either way, history is watching. And so are we. If you found this video thought-provoking, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives, and tell us in the comments, do you think the monarchy still matters today?